everybody. So today I am going to be making some liquid soap. I'm out of body wash and I really don't want to go to the store to buy any. And why buy it when I can make it for like a fraction of the cost at home? So I'm going to show you how I make my liquid body wash that you can use as hand soap or body wash. You can wash your hair with it too if you want to. I don't wash it with my hair with it because my hair is pretty finicky. Even though I don't do anything with it, I do like to brush through it. I do want to learn how to make shampoo and conditioner from scratch, so that's what I'm going to be researching next. But for now, we will be making some liquid soap, so let's get started. Right, so first off, you're going to need your oils, and I've got all of my oils in this container right here. You also need a crock pot, which is pretty grungy, but it works. You can pick up crock pots for really cheap at the thrift store. If you're going to use a crock pot for soaping, that is all you're going to use it for, is soaping. No longer food in that crock pot. Just remember that. And then I've also got some glycerin here. I use glycerin with my liquid soaps because it helps for it to come to the taffy stage a lot quicker and it cooks a lot faster, unlike water where you may be blending it for quite a while in order to get it to that taffy stage, but we will talk about that here shortly. And then I've got my KOH flakes, and everything I have weighed out by weight on a food scale. You always want to soap your measurements with weight, not volume. And we're using KOH, which is this potassium hydroxide, which is a little bit different than sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide will make bars of soap, hard soap. This is for liquid soap, and I'll link this down below. This is the stuff I use, and I love it, and it comes in a nice big bottle. So let me put you on my tripod, and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is start heating up our oils. Grab my spatula. Make sure I get everything in there. Now, if you hear anything weird, it's because the girls are in heat right now, and anytime they see me in the office, they come running to the porch area. So yeah, that's the advantage of having goats. So I'm going to let this heat up. I've got my crock pot set on low, and it's going to stay on low for majority of the duration of this process, except for when we add our dilution. Then I will turn it down to warm, but for right now we're going to keep it on low and just let all those oils heat up. I'm just going to move this out of the way, this out of the way. And then here I've got my glycerin. I'm not going to add my KOH to it yet. I actually want to heat this up. If you're going to use glycerin, you're going to want to heat it up to about 200 degrees. That way the KOH flakes will actually... I got stuff everywhere today. So the KOH flakes will dissolve in it. If you're just going to use distilled water, you don't need to heat it up, but since I'm using glycerin, I'm going to heat this up in a double boiler, and I will be right back. Alright, so just like making regular bars of soap, you want to do the same safety precautions. My glycerin's at about 196 or so close enough. And I'm going to just start slowly adding my flakes in and stirring. Now, if you have a pot that you have dedicated just for soaping, this is going to start bubbling really bad. I forgot to warn you about that. If you have a pot that's dedicated to soaping, you can heat your glycerin right up on the stove top if you want to. Just make sure you remove it from the heat before you add your KOH flakes. Now that is very, very, very hot, so be careful with it. I'm going to set mine aside for a second and bring over my oils. My cord is not very long, so oils are almost completely melted. So I'm just going to let those melt just a little bit longer and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just blended this up a little bit just to get the last little bits of chunks of oil melted down. And now I'm going to add in my KOH mixture very slowly. And the advantage to using the, I don't know, maybe I mentioned it, but the advantage to using the glycerin is that you're going to go through trace and then through the puffy stage into the taffy stage fairly quickly compared to what you would with just a distilled water mixture. Just gonna give that a stir and we're gonna get mixing. So I don't know if you can see it, but I have come to the trace. So now we're going to wait until we come to the puffy stage and I'll show you that next, if I don't miss it. We'll see. Alright, as you can see, it's starting to really start to thicken up now. And you want to keep on mixing even still, because you want to get to that taffy phase where it's really, really, really thick. So keep on mixing. Those boys are so loud outside, but it's starting to look like really thick applesauce. Keep mixing. Alright, now you can kind of see it's starting to look like taffy. You're going to mix it just a little bit longer if your hand mixer or your immersion blender can handle it. If not, switch to a spatula. Mine's starting to get a little hot, but I'm going to mix it for a few more seconds. Okay, maybe not. Alright, yep, that's definitely the taffy stage. So I'm going to take my spatula, clean off all of the goobly gunk. Alright. Alright, so now I'm just going to stir this around with my spatula. Nice and thick. May look like mashed potatoes, but it's not. Don't eat it. So I'm going to let that sit as soon as I find my cover. Put the cover on low heat for about an hour or so, and then I will be back. Oh, these girls. Oh. Alright, so my soap has been cooking for a while now. It's gone through the gel phase. Now I'm going to test it for clarity, and the way I like to do that, don't drop that into the soap. I take a little stick. I take a tiny piece. I have a hair stuck to my finger. And I just put it in some water, and I kind of just dissolve it in the water. And if your water stays clear, you're good to go. If it's cloudy, you'll want to continue to cook it for a little while longer and just keep coming back to it and testing it. My water is clear. I swear my goats are perfectly healthy. They're not in any pain. The girls are in heat and are teasing the boys because they can't get to them. So you hear Morty in the background screaming because the girls are teasing them. So now, anyways, back to the soap. So now I'm going to start adding my water. The way I like to add my water is a 2-to-1 ratio. So you can, some people do a 3-to-1 ratio. I like to do a 2-to-1 ratio because I like a thicker body wash. I don't like it too runny. So I am just going to start adding my water in a little bit at a time. I'm actually going to turn my crock pot down to warm. I'm just going to start stirring this in. So like I said, I turned my crock pot down to warm, and I'm just going to let this dissolve. I'll probably let it sit overnight. That way it'll be nice and dissolved in the morning, and then I can bottle it up. And so I will be back when it's ready to be bottled. And I'll show you what I use for my shower and soaps, for liquid soaps. So I'll see you guys later. Okay guys, so it is the next morning. Ooh, it's still warm. And my soap is melted, yay! So, like I said, it's early in the morning. It still looks very thin, but as it cools down, it will actually thicken up quite a bit. And I just added water periodically, just until I had the right consistency or the right amount. Like I said, I do a 2-to-1 ratio. If I need to add a little bit more water, I will. But I like mine to be a little bit thicker. So the way that I like to store mine is in just a good old mason jar. I actually got these attachments off of Amazon. They're stainless steel and they are rust proof, so I can keep them in my shower, and I love them. So, and I also don't add any fragrance at this point. I'm actually going to buy my fragrance right now that I want to put in it. I'm going to add my fragrance now. And I don't put my fragrance in the batch all together because everybody likes a different scent in our house. So I'm just going to add in mine a little bit extra. This smells so good. I'm using a Meyer lemon fragrance oil. Oh, so good. It smells so good. All right, back to the task at hand. I've got a canning funnel and my ladle somewhere. And I'm just going to start ladling this in. Just put my lid on. Oh, don't shake it while it's hot. Give it a little swirl to get the essential oils mixed in. The rest of it, I store it in a big gallon mason jar. I don't know if this is actually going to fit all of this in there, so I may have to grab another mason jar to put the rest in. So I used about 16 ounces of oil total, and this is all of the soap that I made. These are all individually scented with essential oils and fragrance oils for the family. And then I've got my refill station here in this gallon jar. And as soon as this cools down a little bit, I will show you how well it works. So I will be back in a few. Alright, so we're going to try out the soap. So lovely. So that is what I have got for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? We put out videos every single week. And if you want more information about the soap and how I made it, the large batch that I made, and the recipe that I used, I will link that down in the description box below. So be sure to check that out and follow us on social media, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I think I have a Twitter account set up, maybe. I'll link those down below as well. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.